Hello my friends, and welcome to the wonderful world of Facebook Live with me, Martin, stuck under a tree here in Portugal. I'm hoping that the sun is shaded enough so I can get through this video. I've overheated my phone once already today, and I know if you're in Ireland or somewhere else that it's not so hot at the minute, you're probably sick of hearing that, but it's a lot cooler here again now. I'm really happy to be back at our base in Portugal. I wanted to come on, do a little video and share some thoughts and feelings and just share some things that's going on, and some things that I'm sure is affecting a lot of us, affecting our consciousness, affecting our awareness. And so we've just come back from Ireland and really had an amazing trip. So happy to get back home and meet so many friends and family, and new friends and new family as well, and just had an amazing time. And but we're happy to be back here now. Portugal is my second home, or my first home, whatever way you want to look at it. The home is where your heart is, and my heart is here at this moment. So we always live where we are now, and not search for something the other side of the fence. So just being where we are. So, but it's really nice to get back into nature, back into peace and quiet. So I wanted to come on today because I seen a lot. Obviously the hurricane affected a lot in Ireland, and here in Portugal was affected as well. More so with fires, and just on a wider scale, you can probably see around the world there's lots of what we would call natural disasters, or these things that we feel like are out of our control, and we feel like are separate to us, and they just happen for no reason. But for me, I want to share what I feel is a higher perspective on that, and that is that the earth is a living, breathing being. The earth is not separate from us, although we give ourselves the experience that it is, and we separate ourselves as much as possible with Western thought, with Western lifestyle. We're more and more disconnected from the earth, and we feel like it's a separate thing, and it's just something that we can take from, and it doesn't have any consequences. But so around the hurricane, as I say, like the earth is a living, breathing being, and the wind is the breath of the earth. When the wind blows, it's if you looked at it from a personal point of view, when you're calm and relaxed, your breath is relaxed and calm, and you're relaxed. Whenever you're under stress, or there is something you need to run away from, or there's an imbalance of some form, your breathing will increase, your heart rate will increase, you will breathe faster in order to balance yourself, or to move yourself away from something that is a danger. And the earth does the same thing. The earth is, as I said, it's a living, breathing being, and winds are the breath of the earth, and volcanoes and earthquakes and all of these things are there's varying opinions about what actually causes these things, and I am aware that there are other elements of potential modification and ways in which weather can be manipulated. But regardless of what your beliefs are on that and what the reality of that is, the reality really is that there is imbalance in the world. There's imbalance in the earth. There are practices and lifestyle and ways in which we connect or don't connect to the earth, the ways in which we're around farming and monocultures, and the way we dump and pollute the earth. All of these things we've got away with for so long because we've felt we're separate from it, and I say we because we are all involved in this. This is not just big corporations or farming companies, or we are all part of it, because we're all one consciousness. We're a mass consciousness, and these events, why they look like they're outside of our control, these are consequences of the earth rebalancing, and the need for rebalancing in the earth is down to humanity as a whole, the collective, and how we treat the earth, how we mistreat the earth. So that's something to think about, and everyone has a part to play in that. No one is exempt from this. We are all part of it. We're all part of the one collective consciousness, and what we see in the world, like what we call natural disasters, they're part of us. They're part of things, and how we are living, how we are treating our environment, how and on a micro scale, let's say, it's how do we treat our own environment, like our personal environment. So how do we treat our bodies? How do we treat our fellow beings? How do we treat our families and our physical environment, our homes, our workplaces? And then on the macro, then you go to the earth. That's the ultimate, the bigger environment that we have. And when it is mistreated, and when it is not looked after, and it is just used as a source of take, and no giving back, and no thought or compassion for what it is, then eventually it'll have to rebalance itself. And the thing is, around like global warming and all of these things, there's lots of talk about that, but the thing is, ultimately the only damage will be done is to humans, because the earth will always be here. The earth always is able to rebalance itself and replenish, and we've seen this, like even after like those nuclear disasters in Russia and those types of things. If you see those places now, nature has rebuilt itself easily, and it always does, because nature is a much greater power than an individual human consciousness. But the effects of those things are still being felt by humans, and the effects and repercussions of those are still affecting humanity. So ultimately the earth is going to be fine. Ultimately the earth is going to survive and thrive. It's more so for us as humans. Are we going to survive and thrive, or are we going to keep creating this cycle of disasters, this cycle of waste, this cycle of pain and suffering and all of these things? To say, these are all part of us. So we have a choice. And I'm sure someone watching this could say, I don't have any control over a hurricane, and individually that would be true. These things are collective consciousness. 7 billion people, let's say, of human. That is a form of that is the result of the combined thoughts and will of 7 billion people. So you may feel as an individual, I don't have anything that I'm helpless to that, and I can understand that. But what you do have control over is your personal environment, and every person, your hurricanes in your life come up through your mistreatment of your environment, your mistreatment of yourself, your take from yourself. That maybe if you don't look after yourself, or you don't feed yourself well, or you don't exercise, so you just take from the physical being, and you expect it just to go on forever, like we do with the earth. But your personal hurricanes and disasters will come in the form of illness. It'll come in the form of shaking up your environment in relationships, or shaking up your environment of work, or these types of things. So we have to look at these, and like we are a microcosm, which just means we are the small, like we are one cell of the bigger picture, which is the earth, which is and obviously a hurricane is the result of the mass consciousness of 7 billion plus people. But for us, it's those things, we can take them down to our personal level, and those disasters, or those relationships, or those sicknesses, all of those things they're related. We're not separate from those. So we don't have to think that we can by our thought just stop a hurricane. We can pray, and we can meditate, and we can with mass meditation effects, we can change those things. But we don't have to look at that grand scale. If we change ourselves, we change our world, we change our environment, we change how we treat our environment. So our immediate environment is our body. So if we look at that, how are we treating our body? Firstly, with our thoughts. Are we sending thoughts of hatred and disgust and like non-love to our body, which is our immediate environment? Or are we Are we treating it well? We're feeding it well, we're exercising, we're sending thoughts of love, sending thoughts of acceptance of our body. That's how we change. That's how we change as a collective as well. The more people do that, then the bigger situations will change. The needs for balance will be lessened. And another thing is, balance is needed. Nature always finds its balance. It's like water. Water is one of the most important things in our nature, in our natural environment. And water, no matter where you put it, it always finds its own level. So in the same way, nature and Mother Earth will always find its balance. And as I said, that sometimes we will be in the way of that, and sometimes people get killed and people are injured and in these shake-ups, and we can't understand why. But those things are a collective, though we are all responsible equally for those things. So our farming techniques and how we I know in Portugal there's been a lot of fires and like monocultures, and these things can lead to the way in which the earth responds, and whether a fire is started deliberately or by natural causes. The problem comes when that fire is able to spread because of how the environment is unnaturally treated. It's not in the way it's been set up by man, in an unnatural way, not the way nature intended. And those things are they grow bigger, and they are more dangerous, and they're able to spread farther, and more people will get hurt and more people are damaged. As I said, ultimately the only things or beings that will suffer is humans. Ultimately, nature will always balance itself in the way. So we have to look individually, what are we doing in our personal environment in that micro scale, and accepting. It might be a step for you to accept that what you do in your personal life affects the world in a macro scale. I can understand that, but that is, for me, that is the reality. That is what happens, and there are many examples in ways in which you can show this to be. But regardless of whether you think it has that bigger effect, taking control of that small effect, the effect of you on your environment, to lessen the effects of your personal hurricanes in your life, by changing your thoughts, changing your actions, following your emotions, putting actions into place that provide harmony and balance and health and wellness and vitality. And there are many ways in which you can do this. There are many teachers that can show you how to do this. There are many methods. There are as many methods as there are people. I have gone down the line of yoga and breathwork and meditation, but for you it can be many different things. So look at ways in which you can balance your life, balance your personal environment, so that you can play your part in creating an environment that is more conducive to happiness and joy and love and peace and what we all want, because everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants peace and balance and happiness, and that is how we move towards that. The other thing I can say on these events, these things, one positive thing that can come out of these, and a lot of time do come out of these, it shows the power of how people will come together to help people affected by these types of things like hurricanes and floods and earthquakes. And it shows the real humanity, it shows the real oneness. A lot of times it takes these disasters or huge shake-ups or a lot of people being hurt and killed to bring people together, and that's a positive thing that comes out of that. But we're moving into a time where we don't need suffering, we don't need pain, we don't need disasters in order to care for our brothers and sisters, our fellow humans, because we've gone through hundreds, thousands of years of that. I feel like it's a time where people are waking up and realizing that we are all one, and that our actions, our emotions, our responses are what are affecting the whole. And if we can see that, we would be kinder to ourselves, we would be kinder to others, and we would see a very different world, because we're each creating our own reality, our own little bubble of reality, and we feel like we are separate from everyone else, but that is an illusion, and it is a choice that we have come here to experience that as well. It's not that that happens per chance, it happens by choice. But when we can wake up to the reality that we are one, that we create our realities on an individual and collective level, then we can start to change everything instantly. Change happens instantly when we realize this. So that's an empowering thing. And so if you are in a place where people have been affected by these types of things, see how, firstly, as I say, I always want to put you in control and empower you and not feel like these things are too big. Start with yourself. How can I create balance, peace and harmony in my own environment? Then if you are in that place and maybe there's people have been affected by these things like these hurricanes or anything in your country, see how you can help others, and that's a way of helping yourself as well, because when we help another, we are helping ourselves. It's the same principle. So look at ways in which you can do that: donate or volunteer, or just offer support, offer ways in which you can show your fellow human beings that you care, that you are one with them, and you know that these situations, we can see how these can be, although in the moment it can be very difficult to see a positive out of these things, a lot of times these can bring us together and bring us in to show our real true essence. So I wanted to share that with you today from under this beautiful carob tree here in Portugal. I want to say thank you again to everyone who came to see us in Ireland and who we met. We had an amazing time, very, very grateful for that, and now happy to be back here in Portugal, where we're going to really again get going and practice what we preach. And one thing I would like to say is that I have so many emails and so many Facebook, WhatsApp, all these different types of messages that I need to get back to, so I will get back to you as soon as possible. Everyone, there's so many there. As I say, I needed to take a break from social media and a break just in general after our trip, because I was quite tired, and we give a lot of ourselves in what we do, and we love what we do, but sometimes we need to just relax and get back in so that we can give the best of ourselves as well. So I will, especially on emails is probably my bottom priority. It probably should be a bit further up. I do have a lot, and I promise I will get back to you there. So I always say you can contact me on all of these things, and sometimes when we do trips we meet a lot of people, and I meet a lot of people and there's a backlog. So no, I will get back to you, I promise. I will get there. I just need to set some time aside to do that. But just focus on yourself, come into your own heart, and feel the oneness, and come into nature, come into places like this. And Stephanie says thank you, enjoy being back in sunny Portugal. Thank you, Stephanie. It was amazing to meet you in Ireland, and hope all is well. So this is just probably a good final point. I always say this, is to get out into nature. I know when weather is very, like say yesterday in Ireland, obviously it's a difficult time to get out into nature, but in general things are not that extreme and as the norm. So really get out into nature as much as possible. It is the best healer that there is. The earth will give unconditionally. The earth is abundant, and the healing properties of earth, no matter whether you believe in it or not, is irrelevant. You don't have to believe in it to just have a walk in nature, have a walk into the trees, go to the seaside and see how you feel. And it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, how you feel, what is happening there. The results are the thing that matter. So really encourage everyone to do that as much as possible, and see what happens, and just give a helping hand, and show that you care, and show that you're with your fellow human beings. So thank you very much everyone for joining. I love you all, and I will speak to you all very, very soon. Ciao.